Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Please subscribe and keep watching more details. The Young and the Restless spoilers. Sharon kidnaps Lucy, crime mimics Faith's Cameron ordeal. The Young and the Restless spoilers reveal that Sharon Newman, Sharon Case, is about to do something horrifying. In the Wednesday, September 4, 2024 episode, Cameron Kirsten, Lyndon Ashby, urged Sharon to get payback. The scene followed Phyllis Summers, Michelle Stafford, assuring Faith Newman, Raylan Castor, the accident wasn't her fault. With Cameron darkening Sharon's mind, could she put Lucy Romalotti, Lily Brooks O'Brien? What Cameron put Faith through? Keep reading and let's discuss the possibilities. I&R spoilers reveal that Sharon has been going through a mental health crisis for months. It began with side effects from a new medication. Then Sharon stopped taking meds altogether. While Sharon promised her loved ones to call her doctor, she hasn't done it. In a recent episode, Cameron mentioned to Sharon that she was getting really good at lying to her family. In that scene, Cameron specifically mentioned the med/doctor situation. First, Sharon started hallucinating Cassie Newman, Cameron Grimes. Then, Cameron began haunting Sharon. Lucy has been drinking and she reached out to Faith for help. Faith went to get Lucy, but they were in an accident. Faith said she just looked away for a second and lost control of the car. While this is clear to everyone, Cameron is pushing Sharon to embrace her dark side. Meanwhile, Lucy is facing consequences from Daniel Romalotti, Jr., Michael Griside, and Heather Stevens, Vale Bloom. Lucy is also supposed to speak to someone about her drinking. Lucy tried to rope her aunt Summer Newman, Allison Lanier, into the conversation. However, Summer told Lucy to suck it up and learn her lesson. Later, Summer warned Daniel and Heather that they were being too soft on Lucy. The Young and the Restless spoilers reveal that Cameron is continuing to put more pressure on Sharon. Now, Sharon already has her hands full, and she can't take much more. Sharon is about to snap. At the end of the episode on Wednesday, September 4, 2024, Sharon was outside Faith's hospital room, listening to her conversation with Phyllis. Cameron urged Sharon to get payback. Sharon just might crack under Cameron's pressure. Not only could Sharon kidnap Lucy, but what if the crime mimics what Faith went through with Cameron? If Sharon does kidnap Lucy, what does she intend to do with her? Who will come to save both Lucy and Sharon, or could Sharon do the unthinkable? In a dramatic twist that shocks Geno City, Sharon Newman finds herself teetering on the edge of a devastating decision. Her once stable life, recently marred by trauma and upheaval, spirals out of control as she becomes entangled in a web of emotions. The target of her unraveling is Lucy Romalotti, the young daughter of Daniel Romalotti and Daisy Carter, who is about to face a nightmarish ordeal that eerily mirrors Sharon's own daughter, Faith's harrowing experience with Cameron Kirsten years ago. Sharon's descent into darkness. The usually composed Sharon has been through a whirlwind of heartbreak, personal loss, and overwhelming stress. Her recent battle with the haunting memories of Cameron, who terrorized her family and abducted Faith as a child, has resurfaced with alarming intensity. As Sharon wrestles with her lingering trauma, she becomes fixated on keeping the people she loves safe, even if her methods become dangerously misguided. Her connection with Lucy has always been strained, not out of any direct animosity, but because of Sharon's complicated history with Daniel and his family. Sharon's protective instincts toward her own children, especially Faith, who is still recovering from the fallout of Cameron's reign of terror, make her increasingly wary of anyone or anything that could harm her family. And in a shocking moment of mental break, Sharon begins to project her fears onto Lucy, seeing her as both a threat and a fragile child in need of protection. A chilling plan. The cracks in Sharon's mental state deepen as she becomes more and more convinced that Daniel's life choices are putting Lucy in danger. She sees Lucy as a mirror image of Faith's past vulnerability, believing that if she doesn't act, history will repeat itself. In her mind, Cameron's ghost isn't finished tormenting her, and Lucy becomes the unwitting pawn in Sharon's desperate need for control. Late one evening, when the moonlight casts eerie shadows through Sharon's living room window, her resolve hardens. She convinces herself that the only way to protect Lucy is to remove her from harm's way, permanently. Under the guise of a concerned mother, Sharon makes her way to Daniel's house, where she knows Lucy is spending the night. With a soft knock on the door, Sharon's intentions are still cloaked in ambiguity. Does she want to talk? Does she need to help? But the darkness inside her swells as she steps inside. The kidnapping itself is a quiet, calculated act. Sharon manages to lure Lucy away from her home, whispering comforting words that no one else will understand. She tells Lucy it's for her own good, that Daniel would never be able to keep her safe from the dangers lurking in the shadows. Lucy, trusting and naive, is unsure but follows Sharon's lead, unaware that she's walking into a perilous situation. Echoes of Faith's ordeal. As news of Lucy's disappearance spreads, the town is thrown into chaos. Daniel is frantic, reaching out to anyone who might have a clue about his daughter's whereabouts. The situation is eerily reminiscent of Faith's kidnapping years ago, when Cameron Kirsten took her to torment Sharon. As details emerge, it becomes clear that Sharon is the one responsible for Lucy's abduction, and everyone is left grappling with how far Sharon has fallen. Faith, in particular, is shattered. She's horrified to think that her mother, once the victim of such cruelty, could now be capable of inflicting similar pain on another child. The parallels between her experience with Cameron and Lucy's current ordeal are too stark to ignore. Faith begins to question everything she thought she knew about Sharon, wondering if her mother's unresolved trauma has finally pushed her over the edge. Nick Newman, torn between his love for Sharon and his duty to protect Lucy, is thrust into the middle of the storm. He recalls the horror of Cameron's actions and can't believe Sharon would ever emulate the man who caused her so much suffering. But as the evidence mounts, even Nick must face the reality that Sharon's mind may be fractured beyond repair. Daniel's desperate search. Meanwhile, Daniel's world crumbles as he races against time to find Lucy. He teams up with Phyllis, his mother, and the Newman family to track Sharon down before something irreversible happens. Daniel is consumed by guilt, feeling that he should have seen the warning signs in Sharon's erratic behavior. He remembers their shared past and the times when Sharon was a beacon of kindness and strength, but now all he sees is the image of a woman spiraling into a dangerous delusion. As Daniel works with the police, a tense game of cat and mouse begins. Sharon, moving Lucy from one hidden location to another, grows more erratic and paranoid with each passing hour. She's convinced that everyone is out to get her, and in her mind the line between protector and perpetrator blurs. She believes that by keeping Lucy with her, she's saving her from an unseen evil, Cameron's lingering shadow, perhaps, or something darker born from her own psyche. A race against time. In a race against time, Nick and Daniel manage to track Sharon to an abandoned cabin on the outskirts of town, a place she once sought solace during difficult times. There they find Lucy unharmed but terrified, her trust in adults shattered. Sharon, disheveled and unrecognizable in her madness, clutches Lucy tightly, refusing to let her go. Nick's heart breaks as he pleads with Sharon to come back to reality. He reminds her of Faith, of how far they've come, and begs her to see that what she's doing is not saving Lucy, it's only repeating the cycle of trauma. Sharon, tears streaming down her face, wavers between moments of clarity and delusion, her mind fractured between past and present. In a final, heart-wrenching moment, Sharon realizes what she's done. She releases Lucy, collapsing into Nick's arms as the weight of her actions comes crashing down. The police arrive and Sharon is taken into custody, leaving Genoa City reeling from the shocking turn of events. Aftermath. Lucy's kidnapping leaves scars on everyone involved. Daniel, though relieved to have his daughter back, struggles with how to forgive Sharon. Faith is left grappling with her mother's fragile mental state, unsure of how to move forward. And Sharon, facing a legal battle and the daunting road to recovery, must come to terms with the fact that her past traumas have led her to a place she never thought she'd be, the villain in a story that mimicked her own worst nightmare. Genoa City will never be the same after Sharon's dark descent, and the consequences of her actions will ripple through the town for years to come.